A Lenten Prayer. Dear Lord, I offer you this Lent. I offer it to you with total abandonment and trust. I offer my prayers, sacrifices, and my very life this day. I pray that this Lent will be fruitful. Dear Lord, help me to see my sinfulness this Lent. Humble me so that I may see clearly. Give me courage to accept and strength to confess my sins and to turn away from them with all my heart. Enlighten me with your word, dear Lord. Help me to come to know you and to deepen the gift of faith in my life. I thank you for your suffering and sacrifice for me. Keep me faithful to my Lenten promises. Strengthen my prayer and make me holy. Help me to turn to you each day. Oh, dear Mother, you stood by your Son in his suffering and death. Stand by me, I pray, as I journey through this life. Pray for me and offer me to your Son, that he may take me into his loving embrace. Mother Mary, Mother of our crucified Lord, pray for us now and always. Amen. Welcome to Mission Minute News. I'm Dominican Sister of Mission San Jose, Jean Harris. First, the headlines. Return to the heart this Lent. Social justice program in Sao Paulo. SVD Europe celebrates Santo Niño. Commitment and ordination ceremonies in Pune. Flooding affects thousands in Agusan del Sur, Mindanao. Holy Family Parish, Bulawayo, thriving at 30. These stories and more on Mission Minute News. Return to the heart this Lent. Pope Francis celebrated the beginning of Lent with Ash Wednesday Eucharist at the Basilica of Santa Sabina, calling on the faithful to take up Jesus' invitation to return to the heart. Jesus invites each one of us to go into our inner room, Pope Francis said in his homily, which means returning to the heart, going from without to within, so that our whole life, including our relationship with God, reflects the reality of our inner being. The Pope said that Lent offers us the opportunity to go back to our authentic selves, removing masks and illusions we too often wear. This, he said, is why, in a spirit of prayer and humility, we receive ashes on our head, reminding us we are dust, but dust that is loved and preserved by God. The ashes placed on our head invite us to rediscover the secret of life and allow us to feel ourselves to be loved by God with an eternal love. This, in turn, will help us see that we are called to love others in turn. The traditional Lenten practices of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, he said, are not mere external practices, but paths that lead to the heart, to the core of our Christian life. Too often, he said, we find ourselves no longer having an inner room, especially in a world where everything has become social. But it is precisely in the secret chamber within each one of us that the Lord has descended in order to heal and cleanse. Pope Francis pleaded, "There the Lord dwells, there our frailty is accepted, and we are loved unconditionally." The Pope encouraged the faithful during Lent to make time for silent adoration, for time to hear the voice of the Lord in our lives, and to not be afraid to strip ourselves of worldly trappings and to return to the heart, to what is essential. Finally, Pope Francis said, "Let us acknowledge what we are, dust, loved by God, and we will be reborn from the ashes of sin to new life in Jesus Christ and in the Holy Spirit. Social Justice Program in Sao Paulo. In January, Summer Course 2024, promoted by the Ecumenical Center for Evangelization and Popular Education Services, took place at the PUC-SP Theater. Various Verbite and other leagues, as well as missionaries of the Divine Word, attended. The theme was Work as a Right to a Decent Life and Social Justice. The program provided an in-depth and critical analysis of the socioeconomic and political reality of Brazil, counting on the participation of several assessors. The Street Network, a charity that assists people in street situations in Sao Paulo, founded by Father Arlindo Dias, SVD, supported the meeting with live broadcasts and photographs. Brother Paulo Eugenio de Lima from Verbo Films was in charge of the production of the program daily. Missionary of East Timor, Father Mauricio Gonçalves represented the Divine Word in the talking circles. There was a virtual tent entitled Emerson Ikeda for trainees who couldn't attend in person and for social media of the BRC province. Cynthia Santos, an online participant, said she attended with joy. The course closed with the launch of the book, The Secrets of Our Charm, What a Christian Faith Can Learn from Indigenous and African Spirituality, written by the Benedictine monk, priest, and liberation theologian, Marcelo Barros. The monk emphasized the importance of original and Afro-descendant cultures in understanding the charm in human relationships, as well as commitment to citizenship and Mother Earth. For 37 years, this summer course has solidified itself as an essential space for ecumenical living, sharing of critical knowledge and experience about society, and addressing urgent issues such as dignified work, social justice, and resilience through art. The SVD Brazil Central Province is happy to continue its partnership with the Ecumenical Center in the fight for justice, peace, and equality for all. SVD Europe celebrates Santo Niño. On the third Sunday of January, the 21st, 2024, Filipino communities all over Europe celebrated the Feast of Santo Niño, commonly known as Sinulog Festival. It is an annual cultural and religious festival commemorating the arrival of Christian faith in the Philippine Islands. It was on March 16, 1521, Ferdinand Magellan planted the cross on the shores of Cebu and presented as a gift the image of the child Jesus to Raja Humabon and Hara Amihan after they received baptism. Upon receiving the image of the Santo Niño, Hara started to dance with the image. Ever since then, Filipinos celebrate their faith dancing with the image of the child Jesus. Photos here are from the celebrations in Prague, Rome, Lisbon, Vienna, and Madrid. Commitment and ordination ceremonies in Pune. Most Reverend John Rodriguez, Bishop of Pune, India, ordained 9 SVD seminarians as transitional deacons at the Divine Word Seminary there. He urged them to be faithful and creative disciples in a wounded world after Christ's own heart. In another ceremony at the same seminary, 9 confreres professed perpetual religious vows. The Reverend Father Tomi Thomas, SVD, provincial of the Mumbai province, received the vows on behalf of Superior General Clayton in the presence of the SVD community, confreres, and family members of the 9 candidates. The number of candidates, however, is a far cry from the hundreds of vocations trained by the seminary in the past, who were then sent to the many SVD missions around the world. Flooding affects thousands in Agusan del Sur, Mindanao. Agusan del Sur declared a state of calamity because of a non-stop downpour that displaced about 10,000 families in 45 villages last month. Almost the entire SVD province was underwater, including Surigao del Sur, with rivers flowing into the Agusan far exceeding their threshold. In SVD mission areas of La Paz, Loreto, Binucayan, Sinubong, Sampaguita, Veruela, and Santa Maria, former rice and cornfields looked like a vast ocean. Water levels reached 2 meters, inundating the floors of elevated houses. On February 1st, even mass evacuation efforts were brought to a complete standstill. Different agencies and local units are conducting emergency relief operations. Most of the affected villages are farming and fishing communities who have lost everything and were already deep in debt before the disaster. Food is the immediate need, plus toiletries, mats, mosquito nets, and blankets, reports Father Romeo Cagatin, SVD, Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation Coordinator of Philippines South. Holy Family Parish, Bulawayo, thriving at 30. Holy Family Parish in the Archdiocese of Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, observed the Feast of the Holy Family, marking the parish's 30th anniversary. Administered by Divine Word missionaries, the parish presented 73 parishioners to receive the sacrament of confirmation from Archbishop Alex Thomas Kalayanel, SVD of Bulawayo. During the Eucharist, the parish history was recounted, and afterward a banquet was enjoyed by all. Founded in 1989, Holy Family Parish was officially established on July 17, 1993, with Father Tadeusz Grenda, SVD, founding pastor. The parish continues its mission under the Divine Word leadership of Father Soni Xavier, assisted by Father Masaic Maliki. New Orthopedic Training Center in Wale Wale, Ghana. Divine Word missionaries have officially opened a branch of the Orthopedic Training Center, OTC, in Loagri near Wale Wale, Ghana. The inauguration ceremony took place at the newly constructed site in Loagri on January 15 as part of the feast day celebration of St. Arnold Jansen, founder of the Society of the Divine Word. The timing of the inauguration was particularly significant as it coincided with the 10th anniversary of the passing of Brother Tarsisius de Ruter, SVD, founder of the OTC, in Sawam Adagariri. The momentous event commenced with a Eucharist led by the Very Reverend Father Cyprian Kuopol, SVD, Provincial Superior of the Ghana Province. The ceremony was attended by esteemed guests, including the Northeast Regional Director of Health, the District Chief Executive of West Mamprusi District, and the chiefs and elders of Loagri. Also in attendance were the Very Reverend Father Lawrence Azure, the Vicar General of the Navrongo-Bolganta Diocese, Sister Mercy Benson, SSPS, Provincial Leader of the Sisters, Mrs. Lillian Anand, Chairperson of the OTC Advisory Board, and other priests and religious. The establishment of this training center reflects the commitment of the Divine Word missionaries to enhance healthcare services in the region, contributing to the overall well-being of the community. High schools that work. Have you heard of the Cristo Rey system of secondary education? Currently consisting of 39 member high schools in 24 states across the U.S., the Cristo Rey network integrates rigorous college preparatory academics with 4 years of professional work experience. Yes, all students, girls and boys, graduate with not only a full college preparation, but also a 4-year resume of employment in a real-world quality job. So who are the lucky candidates and recipients of such wonderful high school curricula? In 1996, an experienced Jesuit educator by the name of Father John Foley, along with his fellow Jesuits, realized that although their disadvantaged inner-city students were benefiting academically from Jesuit training, nevertheless, tuition costs often required them individually to be employed at entry-level jobs on a daily basis, putting a strain on their stamina. There was a definite mismatch, even a struggle, between their college readiness and their employment experience. At the same time, Foley saw a growing need for businesses, corporate and otherwise, to find and assist new talent to persevere in learning and using their academic and organizational skills. He envisioned a matchup, somehow, between corporate management and the students that would advance their motivation. That somehow has become the Cristo Rey model. Under the model, students from families of limited economic means are equipped with the knowledge, character, and skills to achieve their aspirations. A work component administered by the school is incorporated within the academic schedule, each student working 1 day a week, sharing their position with other students working the other days. From a single school in the Chicago area, the model was expanded around the U.S. and beyond to include 39 locally owned and operated high schools, with the Cristo Rey network offering guidance and consultation services. Pope preaches on food waste and feeding the hungry. In a message sent to the participants of the 47th session of the Governing Council of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Pope Francis warns of the dangers of food waste, highlighting that it damages the climate while it could feed the world's hungry. He expressed his gratitude for the commitment, time, and energy devoted to striving for a better world where no one's dignity is violated and where fraternity becomes a reality, a source of joy and hope for all. The Holy Father noted that our world today faces a heartbreaking dichotomy related to food. On the one hand, millions of people are plagued by hunger, while on the other hand, great insensitivity is seen in the waste of food. The food waste also produces masses of greenhouse gases, while proper distribution could feed all the hungry. We are pushing the world to dangerous limits, warned the Pope, describing the change in the climate, the plundering of resources, and the countless conflicts threatening the livelihood of millions of people, noting that in the face of crises, it is always rural communities that suffer first. Finally, Pope Francis prayed that a spirit of loyal cooperation and service may guide your deliberations so that the causes of exclusion, poverty, and mismanagement of resources, as well as the effects of climate crises, can be eliminated. Mid-Synod Report. You might have missed an insightful article that appeared in the National Catholic Reporter toward the end of January, an article by St. Joseph's Sister Christine Schenk, co-founder of Future Church. Sister Chris comments on the surprising report from last October's first session of the Synod on Synodality, entitled A Synodal Church in Mission. The report, she says, is a breakthrough response to the Pope's ongoing call to remove clericalism in the Roman Catholic Church. The overarching goal is inclusion and accountability for the effective exercise of co-responsibility. The Synod report makes 20 points, the first of which names synodality as the future of the Church. All members walking together and listening to one another at round tables. The topic, Church is Mission, states the foundational principle of co-responsibility. All levels of Christ's followers are responsible for the Church's evangelizing mission, possibly including lay preaching. Another point, women in the life and mission of the Church, asks that talking about women as an issue or a problem should be eliminated, and that men and women together are to be seen as protagonists in God's projects, without subordination, exclusion, or competition. Further, female deacons should be considered. Inclusive language used in liturgical texts. The expansion of women's access to theological studies. Equal remuneration for pastoral work. And female judges allowed to preside at canonical trials. The consecrated life and lay associations and movements, a charismatic sign, hails religious communities as models of synodality from which the Church at large can learn. Vatican examines the technology-human relationship. More than 20 academics from all over the world came together in Rome for 2 days to discuss scientific and technological progress and ways it can serve humanity. The conference, called Human Meanings and Challenges, gathered scientists, philosophers, theologians, and economists at the Vatican February 12 and 13, hosted by the Pontifical Academy for Life. One participant, Professor Mariana Mazzucato of University College London, felt that the problems facing humanity today require collective action aimed at the common good, and that at present there is no economic model to support this approach, no economics of the common good. In fact, according to dominant economic theories, governments are to leave most affairs to the market, intervening only in cases of market failure. It's impossible to reach our goals on the climate crisis, the biodiversity crisis, the water crisis, and the future pandemics that are coming our way, she argued, if we continue to think in terms of just patching things up. Professor Mazzucato then pointed to the alternative approach she found in Pope Francis' encyclicals Laudato Si and Fratelli Tutti, which, she said, represent a call to revive collective intelligence and collective collaboration. Professor Jim Al-Khalili of the University of Surrey, a research physicist, said that he wanted to discuss artificial intelligence and the way it might transform our everyday life and perceptions of what it means to be human. AI, he said, has made our life easier, even to the point that we forget what it was like without it. Further, this has not, he suggested, made us any less human. Being human, Professor Al-Khalili stressed, is about more than our intelligence, intuition, or creativity, all of which will likely one day be replicated in AIs. Being human, he said, is also a question of our behavior and interaction with our physical surroundings, our relationships with each other within complex collective structures and societies. It is our shared cultures and beliefs, our history, our memories. Archbishop Vincenzo Paglia, president of the Academy, noted that for several years now, the Academy has been devoting some of its attention to issues beyond its traditional remit of abortion and euthanasia. This new mandate, he noted, comes directly from Pope Francis' 2019 letter, Humana Communitas. This new focus, he said, means confronting the epochal change we are currently experiencing. Humanity now has the capability to drive itself extinct from at least 3 separate threats: climate change, nuclear power, and emerging technologies. All demand a robust response. If you have a comment or question about any of our stories, please email us at missionminutenews@wordnet.tv. You can also post your comments below each video on YouTube. We promise to respond. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon. Share with others about the channel and the variety of programs you enjoy there. Please join us every Wednesday for our online Eucharist and Adoration and Benediction of the Blessed Sacrament, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can always catch it later on YouTube. Also, send us your prayer requests or intentions for Eucharist by phone at 909-383-4333 or send an email to mail@wordnet.tv. This is Mission Minute News. Until we meet again, stay safe and well, and may Jesus' love for you make you smile every day this Lent.